Morning, happy Thursday. Welcome to the SHAC Shack. My name's Barbara Gray from Clarity Stamp here in the UK, and we're going to hang out for an hour, safe, happy, and creative. It's hour 251. 251 hours we've been hanging out together. And you know what? We've had chaos, we've had pandemics, we've had so many things going on in those 2 years, in those 251 hours, and we're still here. So let's just keep the faith. Keep the faith. Come on. Good morning. Good morning, Helen. Everything will be fine. It is as it is. Here we go again. But it's snow. Hilda, snow in Scotland. Good morning. Come on in. Just for 1 hour, let's park what's going on everywhere else in the world, and let's just calm our heads. Okay, these are worrying times. Of course they are. Let me see. Paul's just told me, I hope that the sound is good, nice and clear. Thank you, Paul. Our lovely Paul Church is in the building with you. If you have any questions, I've got something really nice lined up for us today. I had a little practice this morning. I could not sleep. I did not sleep last night. And so I lay in bed, as one does, and I thought about what we're going to do together. And then I woke up I got up at the Cracker Sparrows, and then I thought, right, I know I need to practice to make sure that what I've got in my head actually translates. And it does. I'm really pleased. I think you'll love it. So while I'm waffling, this is what you need to go and get. If you fancy joining in with me, do me a favour, right? Go and get some cotton buds from the bathroom. Okay, get some cotton buds from the bathroom. This is what we need. We need some elastic bands. I've got some little elastic bands. This is just so that if you want to join in, you need a little selection of ink pads. Okay, selection of ink pads. What else do you need? They're the most important things. I tell you what you could use if you've got one. This is handy, is a mix mat. You've got one of those. Okay. Glad to be in the SHAC Shack. Yeah, me too, Karen. Me too. Didn't sleep either last night. I know. There's so much going on at the moment. So much going on. You'll be all right, Debbie. Let's just get creative, because that's what we do. You know, park everything outside the door. Come on in. Come on in. It's lovely and warm and toasty in here. There's loads of seating. Coffee's in the corner. Milk's in the fridge. We're going to have some fun for an hour. Just leave it all out there. It will still be there when we get back. Right, so we've got that, we've got those, we've got that. I tell you what, if you've got a little bit of a spritzer, a little bit of water will be useful. And then also you need some card. And this is the same card. You know, we sell it. It's the stencil card, but we sell it quartered for you, don't we? We've already cut it up for you. So, for example, because it's really useful, what have I got here? Yeah, that's all the stencil card, 7 by 7. And then what we do is we quarter it up. It's just easy for little toppers and what we're going to do today. And yeah, no. We're going to do our lovely time to reflect, but of course we're going to practice. We're going to practice. So what we'll do is we'll extract one tree. We'll do a bit of practicing with what I've got in store for you. And then we can translate it to our masterpiece. Okay. It's all about that, isn't it? Taking the stress out of it. Let's de-stress this art. Come on in. Good morning, Janet. How are you and Bea? I hope that you're doing well. We're here after missing the last 2 episodes. We'll catch up soon. Lots of liquid sunshine about today. Sounds nice. Right, let me just get my head on so I know what we're doing. Right, water, elastic bands, cotton buds, few ink pads. I know. Are we intrigued yet? I tell you what, while you're in the bathroom, grab a pair of tweezers, and then eventually you do need, of course, we're going to need a micron pen. Yeah? And if you've got a Sharpie pen in your stash, handy. Right. There you go. So that's what we've got. So while you're going and getting all that, get all your bits together, get all your ducks in a row. We'll wait patiently. What colours have I got? Hang on, I'll tell you. I've used peel paint. That's the darkest one. Probably don't even need that one. If you look, it's all sort of yellows and greens, isn't it? Because it's sort of tree colours. But then I put in a lovely sprucey colour. It's called Evergreen Bough. Really nice. Light turquoise, actually. Look, the lid tells you what the colour is. The clue's in the lids. This is the darkest one. So I had a little play this morning and it came out even better than I anticipated, which always makes you feel good. I saw this technique a while ago now. It was a long time ago, a YouTube, but the artist was using paint, not ink. We're using ink because, of course, it's easier. Well, no, it's not even easier. It's what we're going to use on this project. But you could do what we're doing with acrylic paints as well. Right, are we in the building? Have we got what we need? Hello, Ellen from Norway. Nice to have your company. Marion, bist du auch da? Marion, she messaged me this morning from Germany. Yeah, she's it'll be okay, Marion. It's all, you know, it is what it is. Let's have a look. So I thought, while you're getting your bits, let's have a recap, because I've really enjoyed the projects that we've been doing for the last couple of weeks, haven't you? When we started, isn't it funny how the bus just rolls around, you know, it meanders. Have you noticed the SHAC Shack bus? That's because I don't have like a set destination. I'm just a little bit ahead of you. You know, just a little tiny, just one step ahead of you all the time. So that's good, because it means that you can roll with the punches, you know, you can flow better. So in those storms, for example, you know, the willow trees probably survived. The oak trees, they came down, you know, because they're rigid. They don't flow. Unfortunately, we lost a lot of trees. Do you remember in the 1987? I remember the hurricane of 87. I wasn't here. I was living in Germany at the time. But I remember my mum, she was at home. Big Scots pine, that came through the house. But Seven Oaks, the clue being in the name of the town, Seven Oaks, it ended up being like one oak. You know, all those beautiful oak trees, bang, bang, bang. Inflexible trees, you know, big, solid trees with lots of leaves on. Couldn't handle it. Yeah, so, you know, sometimes you've just got to be nimble and just, like my dad always says, just step back and go with the flow, you know, like a bit of a boxer. My dad was a boxer. So going back to where we were, this is where we started. You remember, we did the artist is nothing without the gift, but the gift is nothing without work. So that was where we started out, didn't we, with our lettering, which was rather nice. Intruder cat got into the kitchen again. Okay, I'm just reading Jane's message at the same time. So we've got the artist is nothing without the gift, but the gift is nothing without work. Do you remember, this is where we used a little bit of, we used some gilding flakes on that one. So I really like that. And we were kind of straddle writing, weren't we? We were writing between the lines. And then we were looking at the lines and I said, well, hang on a minute. They look a little bit like flowers. So then we got all caught up in flowers, and then we put a message. I started my little book of quotes. Minds are like flowers. They open only when the time is right. So then we did that kind of writing, didn't we? So that was nice. So this has been quite a nice journey. I mean, if you missed any of this, then you haven't missed anything at all, because it's all recorded. We always record. So if you need to catch up, like Janet or B, you can always go back onto Clarity Worldwide. Paul will give you the links. I know that we put them safely in order so that you can find them and you can catch up if you're otherwise engaged. And then, of course, we've been working on our time to reflect. And this is the one that we penned, didn't we? Let me get this out of the bag. I always put them in bags so that I don't spoil them. There. So we did our time to reflect, and we inked the top bit, and then we flipped it, and we left the bottom, what's in the water, we left it in pencil. So that's as far as I got. And then today, what we're going to do is add colour. So, of course, over the last 251 hours, we've invested in polychromos, we've invested in pergoliners, we've got our own colouring pencils, we've used the aqua pencils in the pergoliners. There are so many different options, colouring, painting, and I thought today would be a good one to do using cotton buds. But if you're like me, the last thing you want to do is just go straight to, you want to check it out first, don't you? So let me show you. This took me 5 minutes this morning, well, 10 minutes, let's say, right? Let me show you what I was thinking would be really nice for us to do. Right, let's have a look. So that is done colouring in. Isn't it pretty? That's done using cotton buds. Don't you think that is lovely? So it's taking one of the trees. Let me come to this camera so you can see it. I'll hold it so you can have a look. See it? So you've got the colours, you can see them. Dab, 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 dib, 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 dob, dob, dob. Really cool. You've got so much control. And I even spelt travel gently right. You've got so much control over these, but it's random at the same time. So that's rather lovely. Are you going to join in with me? Let's get started. What I want to do is put my one for best, right? I'm going to put that to one side. So I want to do that on my own as a form of meditation. I want to show you how it works now, and then you can apply it to the original. Are you cool with that? I think so. Come on, we don't want to make a horlicks of that now, do we? So what you need, also get a bit of copy paper or a bit of white paper, just scrap, so that you can test. Right, you ready? Alrighty. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 7 I used, 7 in a batch. If I show you it, the one I used, you'll get it. Right. So what I've done is I've put an elastic band, right, or just a band to hold them together in the middle. So I've got both ends double-ended, right? But it's really interesting how this looks. So get 7. Let's do it together. And these are little hair elastic bands, you know, for if you want to put like lots of, if you want to put your hair up in lots of little pigtails. Don't ask me why I've got them. Right, ready? Come on then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Oh, Pauline, I know. I should have said on Monday get some. It's all right though. You watch, and then you'll know. So what we're going to do is just put them together, and then I'm going to take a couple of these because they're a bit small. Then I'll just attach these in the center. And I didn't come up with this. Like I say, I saw this in a YouTube and I thought, and I logged it. I thought, cool, I like that. But then I never pursued it. But then I thought that would be something really good for us to do. So I'm not going to take credit for this. I'm just going to show you what I saw. There you go. So you got like random, yeah, 2-ended. Got it? And also, I tell you what, they're really good. You need a bit of water as well in a bowl. That works. So we'll just put that there. Come on in. It's not very nice weather out here today. Blustery. So I've got that one. You could have loads of these. And the thing is that they, you know, you could have a yellow end, a green end, a blue end, a red end. You could, you know, you could just make little bunches like little paint sticks, aren't they? Or little colour sticks. You know, you could have varying numbers of them. You could turn this into a whole little arty ink applicator selection, couldn't you? Just saying. Cheap as chips, that would be. A lot cheaper than paintbrushes. And other brands are available, but we do like Johnson's. Okay. So let's have a look. We've got a bit of water, we've got that. First thing we need to do before we start is draw the tree. See, the thing is, once you've drawn all your trees like we did before, it's really easy. So really easy. We need something to work towards, don't we? So let me put my glasses on so I can actually see what I'm doing. And then what we'll do is we'll draw the tree. I'll leave it there so that you can see it, but I don't want to copy it. I'm just going to draw my own version. So I'm going to draw the stem, the trunk, if you like, just so I've got something to draw around. And then I'm going to bring it down a little bit further. Then I'm going to make a big tree so I've got something to go to. There we are, like that. That'll do. This is just a practice one. But didn't it come up? I was only doing this as a practice and I thought, cool, that'd be nice for somebody. Waste not, want not. So this is just a practice one. And then we're going to do our Y's like we did on Monday, inking up. There you go. So you travel up and then you split. There we are. So up we go and then we split. Right, come in here and then split the Y. Are we cool with this? Am I going too fast for you? You'll be all right. Come on. Just be glad we live here. Just be glad we live here. That's all. Just be glad we live here. Be grateful for that. Right, these are still quite wet, look, see? Okay, so we've got that. That'll do. And then the rest that was all I started with, and then the rest I put in later. Right, so it's quite big, this one, instead of that one. But that's all right. You get the picture. Now, let's get our mat out. You just need something to colour in, don't you? Now, let's get our mat out and our colours that we're going to use. And we're going to squish some yellow in there. Right, so I've got my mustard seed yellow. And then I'm going to put, what other colours have I got here? Shabby Shutters. Shabby Shutters. That's quite a light green, Shabby Shutters. These are distress inks, not distress oxides. So they're watery. Then I'm going to go with the Evergreen Bough, which is a really lovely colour. That one. There you go, that'll do. And now the peeled paint is as dark as the lid says. So we don't need much of it. We probably won't need much of it. So that'll probably do. I'm just going to put a little bit in there, like that. Okay, that'll do. Right, so I've got my colours. You could go concentrated, but I think that this is a better idea. So now we've got that. And they're not wet, but that's why we've got this here wet. So let's just try something. Before we even do this, let's have a look. Just turn this round a minute. Hold on. Let's turn this round this way so you can see both things that are going on. So I've got my mix mat with my palette. That's what we've done basically. Then I've got a bit. See, you've always got to kind of test what you're doing, whatever it is you're doing, whether it's pencils, or you always really ought to be testing what you're using on the same kind of surface that you're doing your work in. So if we're working on stencil card, then everything that you test, best to try it on stencil card. You do it on copy paper, it won't give you a true reading. So let's just for the hell of it, let's just take these now. Let's see what happens if we go in, just dip, dip, dip. If I go in like that, and then right, so that's the yellow one, right? This is dry, okay? And then let's dip. Let's see what happens if I dip it lightly. I'm going to use the other end and dip the other end in the water. Not soak it, but just dip the end, not submerge and completely wet. But now this end, oh, I need a bit more than that grey. You can see when it soaks in. Right, so you can see now it's wet, okay? So that end's wet. So now let's see what happens if I go in and I wet that. See the difference? See, it's quite a difference between dry and wet. This is our experimenting phase now. Look, do you see? dry, wet. Now, I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'm just saying different effects. Okay. Get it? So you've got your yellow, and the other thing is, if it's too wet, then all you've got to do is just blot it off a little bit. Now, where did I put that paper towel? I've usually got a big thing, a paper towel here. I mean, you could do that, couldn't you? Just get rid of it that way. But now, where did I put that paper towel then? I know I was using it earlier. It's because we're going up to the telly tomorrow. Hang on, there's another one. Because we're going up to the TV tomorrow, of course, everything's in the boxes, getting put in boxes now at the other end of this studio. So I've been prepping. Big day tomorrow. So it's both channels merge, don't they? Big day tomorrow. There we are. So now I've blotted it a little bit. So it's just a question. See, blotted it too much, but you get what I'm talking about. So if, for example, also if yours is coming out too round, let's say it's coming out like proper, looks like daisies, then two things. One, perhaps you don't want to press so hard. How's this working? All right. Let's come in a bit closer. One, perhaps you don't want to press so hard. And two, the other thing that I was doing, which this is why I said get a pair of tweezers, I also quite liked just roughing up the surface. And all you need to do is just pinch the cotton with the tweezers, right, and tatty it up a bit, if that's a word. So you're just changing the surface. Let's see what happens if we do that. It's still quite wet there, right? So I've tatted it up a little bit. See what happens if we do that. Yeah, see, it's rougher. It's not so, check the difference out. Just showing you. It's just the different sort of effects that you can get. So now let's look. Hang on, I've got to stand up to see what I'm showing you. So that one's the dry one. That one's the wet one. This is the one that's wet and tatty. So we've got dry, wet, wet and tatty. Like tattied up. See? What I've done is I've just roughed up the edge. So, you know, it's interesting, isn't it? Now we've done that. So this is my thoughts on this are, and again, there are no experts in the room. I watched this with a chap, I'm sure he was Oriental, but I remember it being in paint, and I remember the effect being really like impressive. But I wasn't paying great attention to, this is just stuff that I put a little spin on it, you know. I think that's called The Crafter's Curse. No, I'm out of the loop on that one. But what I do know is, from my experience, I think it's better to put the light colours down first and then the dark colours. Apart from anything else, if I do the dark green now, logical really, if I do the dark green first, the yellow's never going to get yellow, is it? You see? Whereas if I do this, then I go into the slightly darker one, and then the slightly darker one. So, of course, I can't go back to the yellow again. That's a fact. Although what I'll probably do is leave the yellow, same as our brushes. You know, when I always say, if you buy a set of these brushes, always keep one for yellow, because you'll never get yellow other than if it's a true yellow. As soon as you put any green on it or any blue, boom, game over. Or red, you're never going to get back to yellow. So maybe I'll leave that end yellow so I can dib, right? And maybe I'll concentrate, I'll wet this one up as well, because now I don't want to do the dry one. I'm going to go wet. I'm going to go wet because it's the reflection thing as well. And I really like this this effect. I like that look. Let me just let it get sharp, don't you? It's quite nice. Right, so let's have a go. We'll do the yellow first, and then we'll go to the colours as I've put them down here. Light, slightly darker, darker still, darkest. Right, that's the way we're going to travel. Everybody happy? Paul seems to have disappeared off the face of the earth. Come on, Paul. Keep me company. Right, so I'm gonna add a little bit of water to this one now. I'll do. Let's see. There we go. So we've got a bit of water. I need my glasses, my proper glasses. I thought this would be a really nice way of getting a nice random background. So I've already got quite a lot of yellow on that. So let's see, is that what I want? Do I need more yellow? Is that good enough? Is it too dry? These are the questions that you have to ask yourself. When you're happy with what you're getting, it's a little bit too round for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tatty it up a bit. Just a couple of these. See, when you're pulling the tops up as well. There you go, that'll do. Let's see if that's better. Right, now I'm going back in the yellow. Yellow. Let's go a bit there. So I'm going to get a bit of a wisp. And then we're going to go, let's commit. Right, so and what I'll do is I'll just go, oh, look. Right, not too much. Doesn't matter if you go outside of course it doesn't matter if you go outside. That's half the magic. So we'll add a little bit of yellow like that. And we could even add a bit outside like that, see? If you want a bit more, you can go more. Yeah, so that's the yellow end. Cool with that? Bit of yellow there. Right, doesn't look like anything yet. We just added a yellow underlay. That'll do. And I'm going to stick with this end though, because I've got my yellow here. I'm going to keep my yellow. And now I'm going in to this one. What's this one called? Shabby Shutters. That one. Shabby Shutters. It's a sort of a light green, isn't it? Nice colour. So let's add a bit of light green. See if this works. And then put it over. Yeah, you watch, it will start to change. It's a building game. It's layers. It's all about the layers. So we'll add a little bit of green to that one. And let's see. Okay, watch what you're doing while you're doing it. And then we can add a bit of green. We don't want to completely fill it. That'd be nice. Bit too much really I've done here, but you get the picture. Yeah, so I've done that. See, it doesn't take long once you get in the swing of it. Now come down here again with I'm going to go into this colour now, always with the same end. This is the one that makes the difference. See, but they're a little bit round. See? So this is where because as it gets darker, it gets less forgiving, doesn't it? So what we're going to do now is just tatty up. That'll do. Let's just get that edge so it's not quite so round, and there you go. That'll do. Hey? That's better. Right, so maybe a bit, I don't know if I want more water or what I want, but it's a game, isn't it? Right, that's better. So now go lightly, don't press too hard. There we are, because this one, you're definitely going to see the difference. Okay, here we go. So we'll add some of that lovely, what's this one called? Evergreen Bough, that one. We just had a big delivery of these, didn't we, Paul? From Ranger. This would be nice. I think we topped up and got some new colours in as well. There you go. So if you want that darker, this is the one. There, see? Come out a little bit on the sides. So you don't have to worry about making the tree completely. Now, if you want to go back in with the yellow, of course, you've got your clean yellow at that end, haven't you? Let's have a look. So I think we're getting the idea here, aren't we? Are we? Yeah, it's easy, really. Right, let's get some yellow going. That'll brighten it up again. There, you see. Aren't I glad that there. This is going to look so cool when it's dry, right? And then the darkest one, again, I'm going to, so yellow's yellow, darkest one. I've got a tiny little bit of the peeled paint, darkest one. So let's get some of that going, see what happens. This is going to be the dark one. So you know now, if you want to put some depth through the bottom, this is where you do it. And if you want to go back into the turquoisey one, then it's, you know, it's fine to just, let's take that off. Just clean that off a little bit. These will last ages, I reckon, don't you? I'm going to go back in with the turquoise colour. I like the turquoise. Well, it's evergreen or whatever. There we are. Right, so we've got that one. Now, I wonder if I take the side, whether I can... What colour do I want going down there? I'm going to go with that light green. Just to add a bit of green, I can use it down the trunk. There you go. Bit of that. Easy. Bit of yellow down the bottom. Nice. There you go. It's a really easy way to add colour. And it won't look until it's dry. Look, it looks like a right mess. But look, it will look lovely when it's done. See, at the moment we haven't accentuated here. When it's dry, you can add another layer if you like. So I've got a hairdryer. What am I saying? It's not a hairdryer. It's I wouldn't want to do my hair with this. The good news is it does grow back. This is called a heat gun. You wouldn't want to dry your hair with this. Really not. What is important though is that you plug it in. Hang on. Let's just switch it on. Right. Okay. So I'm gonna heat mine up just to dry it. Have you got a heat gun? Just to dry it before I carry on. That'll work. Usually I let things just air dry. I'm experimenting now. Oh, right. Okay. Are you enjoying this? There we are. So if, for example, I wanted to add a little bit more of the turquoise colour, it will take more now. Let's have a look, because it's dry. Let's see. Yeah, so it will take more now if you want to. And you can also, of course, you come right out if you want. Look, there we are. Yep. Okay. So that's the colouring. How do we do the reflection side? It's just waterier. It's just that's all, more diluted. That's all I would say, just more diluted. So we'll do that though, we'll do that. Let's just finish this though, a bit of project completion. So we've got our picture. This is a perfect palette. This will make loads of pictures. You don't have to wipe this off and start again. These you can use, so this will be fine. Even if I go back tomorrow, all I've got to do is lightly spritz it. If it's dried out, it won't, but if you just spritz it lightly, it will invigorate again. So don't be thinking that you've got to wipe that off every time. So now we've done that, right, and that's kind of dry now. Got my scrap there. Right, now let's just do a bit of project completion. Okay, what should we say? Think of a word. Travel gently, I wrote on the other one. Whatever fits. You can put it wherever your gap is. Let's have a look. Travel gently. Or you can always write it out first. But you know, we've got so much practice at doing this. This won't be difficult for us. Let's just write, what about peace? Peace. We all need some peace, that's for sure. Let's write peace. What pen have I got here? A 005. That's why it's a little bit insipid. I thought the line art was a bit weak on the tree as well. I might have to go over that. Right, peace, here we go. I reckon we've done this so many times now, haven't we? There we go. And you know what? It's okay if it's not perfect. It is what it is. Right, peace. Wabi sabi. Have you ever heard of the words wabi sabi? I love this expression. Wabi sabi. I'm probably saying it wrong. It's probably wabi sabi. That sounds a little bit more credible, doesn't it? Wabi sabi. Wabi sabi. There you go. It means beautiful in its imperfection. I love that. Beautiful in its imperfection. So, for example, now, actually, I'm going to take what have I got here? 01. I might have to fatten up that tree a bit because it's a little bit weak on the line art. Now, where did I put that 005? Here it is. Right, so what I want to do is just give this lettering a bit more of an accent. It's fine. And then I'm going to go back over the line, do you know? And if I don't hit the line perfectly, that's cool too. I'm actually not bothered about that. It's a double line. You watch. So now I'm going back in over the top of my branches. But if I don't hit them perfectly, same as the lettering, you see, it's all right. It's all right. It doesn't always have to be exact. Look, see, I'm deliberately just going in the rough idea. It's like a sketch. As if you were doing a pencil. Look, watch. So you go with it. Go with it. Go with the flow. There you go. And one round the outside. Come on, in for a penny. So I'm going to go round. And if I don't hit the line perfectly, I'm not worried. Just go back over it. Like a real artist. There you go. Actually looks better. Check it out. You see what I mean? I like it. I need to anchor the tree. So let's bring that down a bit. And it just needs something to stand on, really, doesn't it? Thick one, Gray. Oh, she's not learning fast today, is she? Right, here we go. There you are. Do a little bit of grass. I mean, how many times have you got to make the mistake to learn? Sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. There you go. That'll do. Right, peace. So we've got our tree. We've got our... See, now what's really cool is, see how the background is coming into its own now? Look, it's cool, isn't it? So, bit of project completion. How are you doing? Are we happy? Happy is a strong word today, isn't it? Are we comfortable? What I need now is a break because my neck's aching. It's tension. It's tension. Come on, stretch. Look up. You're so focused on looking down, you forget, don't you? Go like that. Can you hear it? You could probably hear it through the microphone. It's like crack, 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 crack. I need to do some exercise or some yoga or something just to stretch. Yesterday, I chased up to Peterborough for a board meeting at the TV studios, and I got caught in somebody was having a terrible day, big car accident, a couple of lorries overturned. It was just mayhem, really. And so by the time I got to Peterborough, I was dying for a pee break. And so I dashed into the Peterborough services. And who should I run into but our darling friend, Mike Bossum. So Mike and Shona Bossum, they're the encaustic art people. They're like really, really good old friends. We go back a long, long way, like a long way, back to the 90s. And we used to do the exhibitions together, like the NEC. And cool, we could tell you some stories, I'll tell you. But so I haven't seen Mike and Shona since we went and stayed with them, which was 3 years ago, Easter 3 years ago, before the lockdown. And it was so good to see them. So good, And so we just dropped I ran to the loo, Mike ran to the car to get Shona, and then we got a coffee and we sat down in the services, and they were on their way up to Scotland. And then we sat down, we had a coffee, and it was just magical. And And they have just literally retired. They've handed their business over, not sold it, handed their business over to good people, like who will run with their business, who will carry forward their message. Absolutely impressive, you know, absolutely impressive. And so, so we sat and we talked and we caught up, and they were literally leaving Peterborough for the very last time. They're done now with TV. That's them done. And we sat and it was just amazing, because we haven't seen each other for 3 years, like seen each other face to face for 3 years. It's one thing chatting, but it's another thing when it's like a clock, you know, the time ticks, and then, or you look up at the clock and you go, wow, is that the time? Because you haven't looked. And it was like when I met with Mike and Shona, because we haven't seen each other, we've always been, Mike and Shona and Dave and I, we've always kind of been on the same spiritual path, if you like. We've got the same ethical thinking. It's there. You know, we are attuned. We're at one. You know, we understand each other. But business-wise, we're the same age as well as two couples. They've been on this path, kind of, yeah, living the good life. And Dave and I have been pedaling like lunatics on another path, trying to keep the business going. And because we haven't seen each other or been in touch really for 3 years, you suddenly realise how far apart we are now on the life scale, you know. And so it really gave me a lot of food for thought yesterday, really. And they are so, you know, all this is coming out of the fact that my neck aches, and I don't do yoga. They do yoga. They do. I'm sure they do Tai Chi, and they're very at one with Mother Earth and just at peace with life. You know, just good people. Really, like in the core, good people. So it was brilliant to see them, and it made me stop. And when I got home, well, I rang Dave straight away and I said, you won't believe who I bumped into, you know. And we had it was just magical. Yep. Right, come on, pencils. We're going to go and see him next month. We're going to go and see him next month. I said, there's no point in you visiting us, because we're absolutely... Why would you visit the southeast of England when you live in Pembrokeshire? Absolutely no reason whatsoever. Unless you're wanting to do Theatreland in London, which we don't feel inclined to do right now. But yeah, it was so good to see them. I'm just grabbing a couple of the aqua pencils. Okay, right, let's do the aqua. Let's see what we got here. I've actually, in the pergoliner box, let me get my... Yeah, so my blog yesterday came in off the back of... No, it's the other one. It's this one. It came in A14 off the back of hanging out with Mike and Shona for half an hour. Just half an hour was enough to kind of just sort of nudge me back on track. And see, this is a watercolour one, A for aqua, yeah? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bit of shadow along the outside of along the outside of the trunk. See? There we go. Just give it a bit of shadow. See the difference? Look, you see that all right? Yeah, so it kind of nudged me back, you know. It was quite an important moment. I think it was more important for me than it was for them, if you know what I mean. For them, it was a momentous occasion because they were walking away. And you know, the other thing is, there's no such thing as coincidence. For us to meet our closest friends, I needed to be 5 seconds later, or Mike 5 seconds sooner and we would have been like ships that passed in the night. There's no such thing as a coincidence. It was just meant to be. We were meant to see it and we were meant to talk. It was really quite something. When you think that we live in Crowborough and they live in Pembrokeshire, what were the chances of us meeting in the doorway of the Peterborough services? Yeah, no such thing as I call it synchronicity. I like to think that there is a plan here, that there are hands unseen delving into our lives. Right, I'm going to take a clean one now and I'm going to put some water on it. Yeah, I could use a brush, but you know what? I've got these in front of me at the moment, so this is what I'm using. See, and then look, see how it spreads the water? Look, result. See, because it's water soluble, it will work. So what I'm going to do is just take this and I'm going to run. This is quite good to know, right? Because it brightens the colour up as well. But this is good to know when you're doing the watery end of your masterpiece. You see? It's good to know that this works like this. So if I want to just add a bit of shade around there and blend it in, that's quite nice, isn't it? I know. She's full of ideas. There you go. A little bit around there as well. You can add water or you leave it just as it is. It's entirely up to you. It's your tree. It's your tree. And then in the words, I'm going to add a little bit of pencil just to get right in on that. That'll do. Again, not too concerned about getting right in there. That look good. Right, is it dry? Yeah. Should we put a couple of little Mike and Shona? Let's put Mike and Shona in. I'm going to send them this card. Travel gently. This one's going to go to Mike and Shona. Hey. We're going to go and see him. We've decided. I invited myself. I don't usually do that. I said, we're going to come and see you. Is that okay? I didn't say we're going to. I said, can we come and see you? Can we please come and see you? They said, any time. So, right, I said, we're doing it. April, Easter, we're there. And that'd be lovely. That'd be lovely. But first of all, I've got to check that either Jilly or Paul will look after Ragnar and Eric while we go for a couple of days. Paul, any luck? It's a public request. Oh, no. Can't leave the cats alone for 4 days, can we? So what am I doing with this? There was a point to me taking... Oh, I know. The birdies. The birds. Right, we've done these. These were the very, very, very first things we did. So there's a little bird with that on a heart. Do you remember draw a heart? I wonder if the newcomers to the shack remember this. Look. Right, there's your wire or your branch. Right, draw a heart and fill it in. Let's do it on a scrap. Yeah. Then give it a head like that. And a beak. I've got to tell you. So my mum and dad, right? My mum is German and my dad is English. And so I rang them this morning to make sure they're all right, because my dad took a bit of a tumble a couple of days ago. He's all right though. He's fine. He's a tough old monk bugger. And he got up and he's all right. He's back on track. So it was all a bit distressing on Tuesday. Anyway, he's fine. He's out of the woods. And he managed to drag himself in because he fell over in on the drive, and he got back in the house, and he went and woke Mum, and she said, "Well, you can't be that bad if you managed to get up the stairs to wake me up to tell me." Sympathy and all that. Anyway, so this morning I rang to make sure that they're okay, and I said to Dad, he said, terrible about the Ukraine. I said, I know. It's very, very, very worrying. And then I thought, to lighten the mood, I said, well, at least you're on the same team this time. You know, he goes, you sure about that? Oh, dark English humour. I said, yes, you are. What do you do? What do you do with these people? Right, Mike and Shona. So you put your little heart, little head, little beaks, wabby sabby. Right, where are we going to put them? I'm going to put, they're going to be looking at each other. I'm going to put them both there. Yeah, they love each other very much. They are a love story, those two. Let's put them on the same branch. Right, there's Mike. There's Shona. Little head. He's a little bit bigger than her. There we are. He's looking down. She's looking up. Love is in the air. There we are. Mike and Shona. Nice. So I've got my little birds in place. Got my tree ready. How's that? You like? You see that? It's not, yeah. Got the wrong glasses and I can't see a damn thing. Right, so now I've done that. Now we're going to, let's do a bit of project completion as well, right? Oh, also what I did do, and this is something, this is easy, just a couple of dots here and there. Look, so this will make it dead arty. Really lovely, right? Just a few little dots. You could do a couple of little squiggles. Okay, let's do that. Nice. All right, that'll do. Got quite a big gap there. So, all right, gaps are good. Right, now, so these are cheap. I bought this in Smith's. They're really cheap. You get like 5 different coloured ones. You get like yellows and lilacs. Like you get the pastel. I like the pastel ones. Right, these ones. Look, you can get them in Smith's. They're highlighters, but they're light. They're light. They're not vibrant. Okay. So I took the greeny one. I thought rather than go black, I wanted to get like a hint. Let me show you. If I show you on the edge there, see it's, oh, hello. It's green, but then it's black as well, right? So I thought, well, let's double up. Let's do that. What glasses have I got? Right, okay. So I'm going to come in on the chisel, right? Let's get this right. And I'm just going to dig. I'm digging in. You dig in. So that way, and I'm coming in over the top, and then I'm digging in so I don't slide. So you dig in with the edge, right? Like that. So you've got the green around all 4 sides. So that's nice. It's nice. It lightens it up. Lovely. See? And then once you've done that, you take the black one, the Sharpie pen, or I bet you could get these in black as well. Right, anyway, so Sharpie pen, and then you're going to dig again, but of course it's not a chisel. So you're just digging into the edge like this. There you go. Like that. And then, because we're going to send this to Mike and Shona, I won't say killing 2 birds with 1 stone because that wouldn't be kind. Right, I'm going to take, I craft a stand. Look, automatically, as soon as I start doing this, I'm up on my feet. I craft. I stand to craft, not I craft to stand. I stand to craft. Yeah. So these are the card blanks. You get them in black and in white, 5x5s, scored but not folded. So we'll do that. And the reason that we sell the envelopes separately is because often we don't actually send it. Often I cut this, so I've got 2 5x5 pieces, if you see what I mean. So I always ended up, when you used to have to buy the envelopes at the same time as the card blanks, I always ended up with a ridiculous amount of envelopes, but no card, because I was always chopping the card up. You understand, you're a crafter, you know. So that's why at Clarity, a crafter decided to take the envelopes out of the picture and sell them separately. So that's good, because it means that if you've got a special occasion coming along and you need 20 envelopes, then you just buy the envelopes you need. Now, are we going to do a side opener or are we going to do a bottom opener? Oh, all right, because we're giving it to Mike and Shona, we'll go that way. See, I like that opening, but there you go. It's choices. So now what do I need? Oh, Clarity stamp. I say, what is this? These are tape runners. They're good. They're about 100 foot long, the tape. lots of it. Right, let's get this mounted up. Go slowly. When you get to the end, just flick. Right. Don't go too fast. If you go too fast, it will catch. And that a lot of, you know, oftentimes people say, oh, it doesn't work. But it's because you've gone too fast and you haven't given the dispenser a chance to, you know, the tape needs a chance to release the glue. You see what I mean? So that's cool. That's cool. Now I need reference. So I'll do that, 2-finger trick. Hover till I'm happy and then press. And what's cool, right? What's really cool is this is what we used to do the colouring. I like it anyway. I think it's nice. It's nice. So that's really what I wanted. God, this seat's gone. That's what I wanted to share with you today. I think going back now to our masterpiece. I know I put it out of the way, didn't I? Because I didn't want to get anything on it, right? But so what I'm going to do, and what I think will be really lovely, is to use this technique. And these are the colours I'm using. You use any colours you fancy. But you see how we built it up. I would suggest that you do all the yellow and then all the watery yellow. Then you do all the light green. Then you do all the watery light green. So as you're moving, yellow's yellow, right? But then these ones, watery light green, watery light, diluted white green. This is all watery, isn't it? And then with the hills, you see here, you could just take the darker colours to accentuate the hills. And like this one, don't worry if you overlap or you. I really like going scribbling over the top of the line art. It gives it a real arty finish, doesn't it? So there you go. That's what I wanted to kind of show you today. That little trick. Yeah, it'll all be all right. That's the little card. That's the technique that we're going to transfer. I would suggest that you do that in your own time. Hey, just do it in your own time. It's already 5:02 now. So I'm going to go to the office. TV, right, let me just tell you, just let me fill you in. Tomorrow at 9 o'clock and at 1 o'clock, I'm launching some really nice layout stamps, smashing, and that will be on Create and Craft. Now, I'm not moving to Create and Craft. We are Create and Craft / the craft store now. Okay, you're going to find us again. I mentioned it on Monday. I'm going to mention it again now. You're going to find us on 85 on Freeview, channel 85, 683 on Sky HD, very important, high definition, much better picture. 813 on FreeSat, that's HD. Yeah, so 85 Freeview, 683 on Sky HD, and 813 on FreeSat HD. So that's where you'll find us, and that is at 9 o'clock and 1 o'clock on Friday. Now, we're staying overnight, Paul and I, and on Saturday, we're going to go 7 o'clock in the morning and 11 o'clock in the morning, and it's groovy. It's groovy, but we're kind of going back to the depot, you know, because the new viewers from the other channel, they won't be familiar with groovy. So if we go piling in 5 years on, that will be like turning the telly on halfway through a film. So we decided to wind it back. And there may be some of you that would like to start the groovy journey, the parchment art. And so that's what we're doing now, is we're kind of rolling back. It will be good for lots of people who perhaps want to review, go over. I'm a big one for repeating. You know, it's same with the pottery. You know, there are so many different techniques with pottery. Sometimes you're 2 years on, you think, how did they do that? How was that slip applied? You know, all those things. And it's the same really with parchment art. You know, it's okay to go back to the beginning, especially if you've already got all the plates and all the, wow, you know, so then you're just coming in for the tuition result. So those shows, the groovy shows, are going to be at 7 o'clock in the morning, early riser. Paul's doing that one, aren't you, darling? And I'm doing the 11 o'clock. Take me that long to put my makeup on. Oh, it's all go. I tell you what, you know that song by the Smiths back in is it the 80s? I would go out tonight, haven't got a stitch to wear. That's where I'm at the moment. I'm on the comfortable trousers. Honestly, it's getting desperate. I've got to do something. What's happening, people? The grayscalers. The trouble is that there's so much going on. The last thing you want to do is starve yourself at the same time. So it's called comfort eating, isn't it? Hey, priority setting, plate spinning, ball juggling, and all that good stuff. And what we've got to do is just stay safe. Stay safe. Get grateful. Get grateful. Make a gratitude list. Write down all the things to be grateful for. You'll easily find 5 things. Easily find 5 things to be grateful for. All right? And enjoy working with this technique. I think there's a lot more can be done with these. We've run out of time. And that one's for Shona. I'm going to find an envelope, and then I shall send that to her and Mike. There we go. And I'll tell them when we're going to be landing. We's on the way. Anyway, hope to see you tomorrow morning, bright and early at 9 o'clock. And other than that, be safe. Make something. Craft. Get out of your head and stay with your hands. Lots of love. Bye-bye. Hey, Paul.